Welcome. I am Sandy, the Rambling Psychic, and this reading today is about love, soul contracts, and the connections that bind us when we're truly ready. Soul contracts or soul connections come into our lives for a reason. Others come because of soul contracts or that could have been made lifetimes ago. So in this reading, I'm going to be channeling messages through the tarot and our spiritual team about love, the kind that teaches us, the kind that tests us, and the kind that stays. There will be quite a few messages here. I can already feel it, and I will timestamp them for you. And you may feel drawn to more than one message, and that is totally okay. Um, I feel like whatever reveals itself to you, listen to your intuition. Trust your intuition rather than your expectations. The messages meant to find you today, they're going to be clear. I promise you, they're going to be clear. So, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and get right into the reading. I'm going to bring the lid down, and I am going to use a few different tarot decks. But I am going to start with the Universal Tarot. And we are doing message by message. Again, they will be time stamped. So we're starting with the Universal Tarot. And let's see what type of love we're looking at here. Type of message. And I am going to shuffle for the messages. All right. So as I'm shuffling, I would just calm your mind. Again, release your expectations and really listen with your intuition. Okay. We have High Priestess. She is turned around. This is your intuition in the upright. This just may say that someone's not paying attention to their intuition. Next comes the Five of Pentacles, also in reverse. I don't mind this in reverse. I have a feeling that there are some of you right now trying to make a decision of whether to stay or go, whether to make a change or not. And it's interesting with the High Priestess in reverse, which really is your higher self, your higher wisdom. It kind of feels like I'm leaving that out of the equation. So let's see why. You know, all of a sudden I get this feeling of someone who is pretty uncomfortable with change. Sometimes we become so comfortable in the uncomfortableness. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here. But hello, Will. Hello, Destiny. I have a feeling you're really meant to listen to your intuition here. Because this means something destined is opening up. We have the Five of Wands. Interesting. Two fives. Five of Wands. It's interesting because the two fives are like encompassing your will, your destiny. And I feel like one is uncertainty of whether I should stay or go. The other one is definitely an energy of drama, fighting. You know, I always feel in the Five of Wands like maybe I'm expecting or hoping someone to acknowledge their ways, whatever it may be. But I don't feel like you get it in the Five of Wands. And honestly, especially with the wheel here, I don't feel like you need it. You may think you need it. Okay, well, let's keep going. Because there's definitely more to this message. Three of Swords, the Moon. Look at that, the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. First of all, I love seeing the Ace of Pentacles right by your wheel, right by your destiny. But here's the thing. I feel like at this moment, I definitely have someone questioning whether to stay within an existing relationship, even though I feel like there's trouble. There's trouble. There's ego. Excuse me one second. Okay, it's only gone for a second. I had to knock at the door. Um, so anyway, hmm, I feel like I definitely feel like there's a repeat pattern here of someone breaking your heart over and over again. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the same person, but there could be like a what's the word I want to use? Oh, um, like a pattern. So that's what I would ask yourself. Like, am I like in this karmic loop? Because I feel like the staying feels much more difficult than the leaving. And I feel like one of the reasons why someone may stay is because they're uncomfortable with the uncertainty of what will be next. Look at this. I feel like your guides got you covered. The Ace of Pentacles. I feel like the Ace of Pentacles, it gives you the way. It gives you the way. And if we think about who brings in this knight, or brings in this pentacle, the Knight of Pentacles, often a guardian angel. And the Knight of Pentacles tells you, come at the right time, not before, not after. I do feel like potentially who's ever feeling stuck, hurt, like I don't like this energy for you at all. I feel like what your guides are saying, and boy, I hope that this helps you because I can see the repeat pattern and I can see, you know, same thing happening over and over and over again. Now, for some of you, this may be a karmic lesson, and the lesson may be about choosing oneself. And then your guides are like, and then we have you covered. But I feel like the lesson, or at least the answering of the lesson, has to come first. And then the way will show itself. Okay, I'm going to bring in the crystal vision, and we'll use the crystal vision as clarifiers. I'm not going to clarify every card, but I do feel like if someone makes that decision to really change your life, to choose you, and then I feel like this ace comes in, and I kind of want to see where it takes you. Well, we got a lot, but we're going to take them. All right. Page of Cups, Ten of Wands, no doubt. Seven of Wands. This is telling quite a story. Well, the Death card. Hello, Ace of Wands. Wow. The Queen of Cups. And the Four of Pentacles. You know, this is telling its own little story, but it's adding to the existing story. This Page of Cups, oftentimes it's our inner child, and especially when it relates to love. And then the Ten of Wands next to that. That tells me that chances are in this, if you want to call it a relationship, it really feels one-sided. And I'm not going to say that doesn't mean that they don't love you, but maybe they just don't know how to love. Because then you get the Death card. And the Death card is about transformation. Just like the Ace of Pentacles. The wheel, you make the change. The Ace of Pentacles comes in. The Death card, I close that door. The Ace of Wands comes in. I feel like the Ace of Wands is inspired action for you. I definitely feel like it's signs and guidance. And what I love is we have the Page of Cups and now we have the Queen of Cups. And I feel like someone just graduated. Someone just chose themselves. And I feel like right off the bat, like I'm not that young girl anymore. I'm now a woman. I'm a woman who knows what she wants. And what I want is stability. I want someone I can count on. And, you know, I'm going to be honest. I feel like, number one, you want to listen to your intuition because I feel like it's true. I feel like why the High Priestess is reverse is because I may be very uncomfortable with change. And I don't mean to laugh, but that's really what I feel like. Like, what do I know? Like, how do I know what's out there? I feel like your guides have your back. I feel like your guides will lead you to what is going to be a real love, especially with the wheel here. And this does feel like a karmic lesson. And the lesson is about choosing oneself. Or we can put that a different way, where we're not accepting other people's bullshit in love. Like you love me or you don't. And if you don't, just tell me so I can go. But in a way, I feel like it really doesn't have anything to do with whether someone loves you or not. I feel like it's just their energy. It's just who they are. And I do not feel they're going to change. Now, it doesn't mean they don't have an opportunity to change. We all do, right? We're all given certain gifts after we've completed certain lessons. And that's exactly what's happening here. So the closing of this door opens up the Ace of Wands. That could be passion. You may start to feel. Though I do want to say, like, I wouldn't even rush because maybe being single for a little while may do you good because it may have been a while. And then I feel like you don't have to try to like find your real person. I feel like your guides got you covered again. I really do. And I feel like you have graduated. You have evolved. Someone else hasn't. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. Two of Swords, blindfold. Can be potentially blocking. blocking something. Maybe, you know what I feel like this is? This is you blocking your intuition. And I have a feeling there's a lot of noise around you. Now that could be internally, externally. So I'm not going to overread this. I feel like the message here is to choose yourself. And if someone is clearly showing you their ways, believe them. Believe them. And I would say be okay with being single just for a little bit because I feel there's power in that for you. And then you will meet that ultimate person. But another way of looking at this, though, if this is a karmic lesson and you say, I've had enough, I'm not taking it anymore, well, you are paying off karma and you're paying it off for eternity. And that automatically lifts your vibration. So whatever comes towards you then must also be of that vibration. I feel like someone has kept you stuck in a low vibration and now it's time. You know, of course, that is free will. That is free will. Um, but boy, if your guides had, if they could come in and move you, they would. Okay, we'll let this one be. And let's go ahead and stay with the Universal Tarot. Go to message 2. I don't know if I said, I will have them time stamped. Justice. Carta Libra. Can be karma. Oh boy, here we go. The reversals again. 4 of Pentacles in reverse. The 9 of Pentacles in reverse. Ruh-roh. The Magician in reverse. Someone is off balanced. There's something in your life that's keeping you off balance and it's affecting, it feels like every part of your life. Definitely feels like it's affecting your creativity or making money. It feels like it's definitely affecting your foundation and your ability to manifest. It's not that you don't have the ability to manifest. It's almost like, again, I don't know. It just feels like someone does not want you to be or live up to your full potential. Let's put it that way. Now, I have a feeling that this message is for those also in a relationship, potentially a marriage. Justice can certainly represent like a divorce, but it is about cutting ties. But remember, when you see justice in a reading, and it asks you to use the sword of justice, it's so you can have balance. Because as soon as you use that sword, you find that balance. Everything in reverse will turn around. I just know it. We have the Emperor, father figure, and then we have Temperance. So Aries and Sagittarius. So again, you know, interesting. The father figure mirroring justice. Temperance down here, which is about number one, patience. But sometimes the universe is having patience with us. And not in a judgmental way. Like whenever you're ready, my dear, we're ready. And it is about divine timing. Seven of Wands in reverse. All right. Anything else with this one? Okay. So it is interesting. We have the Emperor mirroring justice and certainly can represent a father figure. Um, so could be a mom, the mother who is here. And I just get this sense of not being able to be my true self here because I feel like there's a lot of ability here. Like there's a lot of soul wisdom here, and that's you. But yet it's kind of been put on hold. It's almost like, it reminds me of like a marriage where one lets the other go get their degree and get that good job, and the other one stays home, takes care of the kids, takes care of the house, and then there's a split up, and then the one who, had that good or has that good job doesn't want to give the mom or the father, whoever decided to stay home, a piece of the pie. But yet, without her or him, they wouldn't have been as successful as they are. Because I feel like you gave them free reign. Like, you go get them. But then here you are with all these talents. And, maybe this is just what you decided to do for now or then. Because now I feel like this feels like it's coming to an end. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision. Well, I did get when I was pre-shuffling the cards, that's when I'm really meditating. I'm really having a conversation with my guides. And I did get that we were going to be talking about soul contracts, which can also talk about karmic soul contracts. And I feel like the first two readings is exactly that. Three of Wands in reverse. Optimism, but not anymore. This is someone who potentially, just stopped getting excited about life. It's the same old, same old. I do feel like this can turn around. And I do feel like it will turn around because I feel like who I have here, I do feel you're pretty strong. And I feel like you know what you want. I don't know why I put that over there, but the Nine of Swords, it's so funny because I was just thinking to myself, can we get a card in the upright? Well, that one I would have rather came reverse. That's a lot of worry. But the meaning of this card is unnecessary worry. Worry nonetheless. And I feel like part of the worry may be over the finances. Let's say this is a marriage and I want to divorce this person. And maybe I already know that this person is going to give me a hard time. um, and even if that's the case, Here's what I feel like this message is saying to you, that you have a lot of abilities, untapped potential. And I feel like you know some of these gifts you carry, and some you will find out as you go. I feel like you have the ability to really create a rich life for yourself. Um, and you know, part of the way you can tell if this is for you or not is it does feel like I'm not like my joy is gone. Then we have the Eight of Wands. When I think about, I bring about. But here, it's the opposite. Dang. Can we have anything positive? Okay. How about that? Interesting. I say anything positive, we get the Ace of Cups. Now, we have Temperance here, which is about divine timing. So I feel like it is about using this sword because it does feel like your joy, like I don't know, it's almost like I don't have anything to be excited about anymore. I feel like this relationship, I feel like the foundation maybe never started strong. Um, and I definitely feel the energy of putting myself on the back burner, but willingly. I have a feeling this person maybe doesn't come home after work all the time, like could probably maybe go to the bar, and that puts you in worry. Boy, I know that energy. I feel like any love there was, I feel like it's gone. But I feel like it's you. Like, I don't feel like you love this emperor any longer. I do feel like you've given them everything. You're taking care of everything so that they could excel. And so they do. And then it turns around and bites you in the ass. Maybe for a moment. But I feel like if you use that sword, we already know that Temperance is working on this Ace of Cups. And it's not in reverse. And I just want to see if we can see who's attached to that Ace of Cups. Because this to me feels like new, like someone new. You know, I just get a feeling that people are making real decisions this year. And it's interesting because 2025 was a year of reflection. Well, this is the year of action. And I just from the first two readings, I feel like now people are starting to take action against things that just are no longer bringing them joy, you know, happiness, money, any of that. Hello, Star. How about that? Following the Ace of Cups. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And Temperance down here, connected to this Ace of Cups, asking you to trust in divine timing. But the patience first. But here, again, I feel like the patience is more for us. And when we're ready, I feel like divine is ready. That tells me that this love, this Ace of Cups, um, is probably going to be better than you can imagine. Number one, I feel like as soon as you cut ties, your joy returns. First and foremost. And then I feel like when your joy returns, your creativity, your epiphanies and ideas start just coming in fast and furious. And some of you may start a business, may start a home-based business. And I don't want to take that away because I feel like that's an important component also. But I feel like love, because we are doing love readings, just as saying, I mean, what a beautiful line. Temperance, the Ace of Cups, and the Star. Divine, unconditional love, and love of my wishes, love of my dreams, love that dreams are made of. All right, anything else want to come out? Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so right away, as soon as I felt this energy, I knew exactly what it was. I feel like here, and this happens a lot, I may have thought someone was, if I give them a title, let's say like a twin flame or a soulmate, and therefore I thought I needed to stay, or I thought I needed to just, put myself on the back burner. And I feel like what it's saying is no, no. Even if it's a soulmate, we have another karmic soulmate. And it may seem weird to get two readings with karmic soulmates back to back. However, this feels like the time. Like this feels like the time to claim you and to trust in divine. And remember, we're in the year of the magician. Your ability to manifest, or let's just say the veil, is thinner than ever. But I want to know what I'm going to like I want to think about what I'm thinking about. So I feel like this is just saying, don't put this person in a status that makes you think that you must stay. I don't feel like there's any status where you must stay. Not even a twin flame. I just don't think that. And I feel like what this saying is love will open up to you, but a high vibrational love. And again, once you choose yourself. And I kind of get the feeling that the people this message is for, like, you might like get a little bit of amnesia, forget about the reading, and then eventually cut these ties. And something about this message you're going to recall. I don't know. I feel like that's how, like, I feel like there's something, there's a message in a message that will be heard when the timing is right. Okay. So there's a message in message. And, just one last thing I'm going to say is I feel like this person over here, they are choosing themselves first, where you're not. That doesn't seem fair. And justice is all about what's fair and just. Justice in a reading is about making you whole again. But you have to use the sword. And I'm not necessarily saying, like, let's say this is a marriage that I got a divorce. Not necessarily saying that. But I do feel like real conversation would have to take place real action from this person and to support you in your goals. Because right now, I don't feel like you have that. So if we were going to turn this around, I feel like those are the things that I would need. And when I say I mean you, right? I would need the support of potentially maybe starting a home business, an open dialogue. But let's say this person's not willing to give any of that. Then you need to do what you need to do because Temperance is telling you this is not the end of your love story. It just may be the end of this. And most love is meant to end. And then we find that one love that's meant to stay. Well, that's what I feel like is in this cup. All right, let's pick this up. I feel like I'm losing my voice. Weird. Wow, look at the reversals. I think I'm going to change decks. Let's go ahead and change decks. Let's bring in the Psychic Tarot. And I think we're on message 3. As soon as I started counting them, I thought to myself, don't count them because you're going to forget the number. All right. Talking about love. Wow. All right, we're not taking those. But we are taking these. Holy cow. Your intuition, recognition and reward. Hello, Destiny. Boy, I feel like we keep getting it around the same place. Hello, Temperance, patience. It's called in this deck. Oh my gosh. Hello, spiritual union. Victory and success. And then this is the 7 of Pentacles. Look at this, all in the upright. Thank you, first of all. So right off the bat, we have this spiritual union. This is the soulmates. This feels quite easy. It just feels like I just merely need to trust my intuition here. Be myself. No need to try to be anybody else. Matter of fact, I don't want to attract someone who wants me to be anyone other than myself. I feel like the wheel is spinning. Why? Because it's divine time. 7 of Pentacles is your tree of life. Here they call it patience and planning. And that may be the case for some. But I feel like it's more about, because we're doing a love reading, I feel like it's about the seeds are already planted. So I feel like these soulmates may have had a plan to come together in this lifetime. But chances are it's not early in life. Now, it doesn't mean you couldn't have come across each other, but I feel like the union is a little later in life. And when I say, when I say later, what I'm really talking about is wiser. And you could be wise at 20 or wise at 60. But anyways, it looks like you, I feel like who I have here, I feel like you're doing pretty good right now. I feel like things are moving pretty steady for you. And I feel like you took full advantage of 2025 and you are following your intuition. You are being your authentic self. And how do I love that? Because you're going to be celebrated for that, but you're also going to love them for exactly who they are. These pre planted seeds, now is the time. Temperance, it even says it here, patience, my child, patience, my child. But here, I see nothing that's holding you back. If anything, I bet if I went backwards, that's where I would have solved the lessons. And I feel like you've overcome them. And this person, or many of you, are really trusting your intuition, and you're becoming more comfortable in your own skin. Because who you fall in love with here, or who you end up in union with here, it is saying, like, you're going to be recognized for exactly who you are. There's probably going to be a familiar type energy, like whether we just like brush each other's hands as we're walking through a store. They're walking one way, I'm walking the other, our hands brush, and there's like, ooh, this electrical shock. It makes me look back. Who was that? And I bet they look back too. I bet that happens because I can see it in my mind's eye. I bet you're accidentally gonna come across someone you're accidentally going to touch, and it's going to stop you in your tracks. And I'm not talking about a big electrical shock, but something's going to stop you in your tracks. Who is that? And they're going to be saying the same thing. And I get a feeling all of a sudden like our guides are up there laughing, but not laughing at us. They're, or I should say, joyful, like celebrating the fact that, they actually touch skin. Because, and why? Why are they proud? Because they got you there. Because you listened. You tuned into your intuition. Because you went to the right place at the right time without second guessing it. This is a type of love. Feel like, it's interesting because we have this 3 and then the 6. And I feel like the 3 singular, the 6 together. And it's like we are shouting our love from the mountaintops. We want everyone to know. And not in an egotistical way. It's just that's the way the love feels. That's the way it feels. For those who say, like, when the heck is divine timing? I want you to notice the first card, your intuition. Because your intuition is what's going to guide you. Your intuition is your GPS in this lifetime. And your intuition is guiding you to your soulmate. This is the soulmate that stays. This is the soulmate that stays. You both stay. I almost don't need anything else. This is meant to happen. And, if I had to think about the past here, I feel like one of the lessons of the past was about being comfortable in your own skin. And now you are. Now, I'm not going to say that, when you do brush up against each other and you feel that chemical reaction, I'm not going to say little fear won't raise its head, but that's butterflies. It's a different type of fear. Because I feel like here, This person is not carrying their past into the present nor the future. Uh-uh. All right, let's go ahead and we'll just see if anything wants to come out with the crystal vision. Six of Wands again, victory. Page of Wands, my risk taker. Often call the page my fool. Hello, Knight of Wands. Look at the wands. Well, there's that chemical reaction. Well, we didn't need to know that they were soulmates. We already have it. But in case you doubted it, here it is again. And then the Two of Pentacles. Interesting. Because the Two of Pentacles puts a ball in your court. Should I? You know, in the Two of Pentacles, they called the Juggler's card. But I feel it's more about using one's logical mind. And I feel like the question that I can really ask here is this a love that's going to enhance my life or will it deplete my life? And if you don't know the answer right away, take your time. Take your time because I feel like this is true love. I know it's true love. I don't think it's true love. I know it's true love. And I know this love is filled with passion. So not only are these two coming together, really in divine timing, and it's destined. But the passion, like I feel like you won't be able to keep your hands off each other. This is a love I would take a chance on. Because they're going to take a chance on you. Because remember, they also have to take a chance. But it really feels like external noises gone. Me and my intuition. And that's what I'm going to follow. And you're following it the whole way to your ultimate love. You know, soulmates. But here, spiritual union. Soulmates right on the wheel. Okay. I accept that. I accept all of them, but that one makes me happy. All right, we'll stay with the psychic tarot. Eight of Swords, but you know, I'm not sure if it's reversed or upright. Just the way it fell on, it landed on my laptop. So we'll keep it in upright for now. Look at that, 88. 88, and I already know some of you relate to number 88. So I'm just staring at the number 88 for some reason. Can be 1988, but it doesn't even matter. 8, the number of infinity, the number of new beginnings. So the first one, 8 of Swords, trapped in fear. This is what I call self-created prison. We put up these walls. We feel like we're stuck. Chances are, I don't know, I feel like it's meant to be in reverse. Because I'm not really feeling that. Maybe you did feel stuck. Maybe you thought you were trapped. And when this reverses itself, it truly is the freedom or the feeling of freedom. And then emotional withdrawal. This is the 8 of Cups. But I love this image because this person is in a grateful pose. They're sitting at the water's edge. And it's like they're allowing the tide to wash their worries away. This person is ultimately heading towards the Nine of Cups, inner fulfillment. But doesn't it look like they're already starting to reach it through their own calm energy, through releasing what no longer serves them, maybe even understanding, like, where I think I'm stuck, I'm truly not. This is what I'm learning. You know, it definitely means, or feels like anyway, that, well, especially with the Eight of Swords, that whatever was, memories of love, Six of Cups, deception and envy, Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords mirroring the Eight of Swords. So someone played a number on you. Someone might have played mind games. That's what I feel like in the Seven of Swords. Someone who plays mind games. Someone who, I would say is more of a taker. Well, not more of a taker. They are a taker versus a giver. They could be all charming in the beginning until you feel trapped. Okay, I got them right where I want them. Now I can go look at other people. I feel like all of a sudden I feel presence of someone else. And this may be in the Six of Cups, memories of love. Because I don't feel like the Seven of Swords and the Six of Cups are the same person. But it's interesting because I feel like you may have dealt with the Seven of Swords, deception, and envy for a little while, hence the Eight of Swords, trapped in fear or self created prison. But because I really felt like it was in reverse, freeing of oneself and letting go of the emotional turmoil that they caused, at least finding clarity for yourself. But I have a feeling for some of you, as you were going through this, I have a feeling there was someone else on your mind. Many of you know Sam and I's story. And it's not like he was always on my mind, but there were times like when I was going through something difficult and, I'd go to bed at night and I would just think about Sam like, I wonder what our life would have been like if we stayed together. But we lived in different states. I never thought it was possible. Didn't even think of it in that way. But now we live together. You never know what's going to happen until it happens. And I'm saying that because I feel like for some of you, your story may be similar. Look at this, positive movement forward. Another 8, by the way. This is positive energy. Even the Eight of Cups, I find that kind of positive because this is where I'm finding emotional clarity, which really is a must as it relates to love. Doesn't mean I'm completely healed from all the bullshit I put up all my life. No. And our guides know that. Like, I feel like we're always a little bit broken. But honestly, I feel like the person who ends up truly loving you, like, I feel like they would think the parts that you say are broken, they'd be like, oh, but I find that adorable about you. Like, don't change that. And you're like, really? No one else liked it. Well, probably because it made you adorable and they didn't want you to be adorable to anyone else. We have the Emperor. Look at you, you're heading right towards the Emperor here. So, as it relates to love, now, can be an Aries for sure. but certainly doesn't have to be. What I love is you're moving towards this person. So the Emperor to me, the reason why I feel like it came out right now is to represent what type of person. And the Emperor is someone that we can look up to. The Emperor is someone who is empathetic and compassionate, but also methodical. Like probably has a lot of paper around their house, write a lot of plans out. Can certainly be a business owner, in a leadership role, can do healing work, but would do it more methodically. Is that a word? Oh, I don't know why I'm taking these. I wanted to take these. So that means whoever the emperor is for you. Oh, look at that. Ten of Cups. Your house of harmony, laughter, joy. Some of you with the father figure here, maybe who you start a family with. Or it can be blended families. And this person may just take on the father role. Not to take over the father's role, but be, fatherly. you know, it's interesting because I do so many readings and I often think like, well, I guess maybe that's why I'm here in a way. Because I was just going to say, like, if we only knew the potential of what can be, we wouldn't put up with a lot of shit that we put up with. But I guess that is my role. What I'm here for. Oh my. Hello, marriage card. Hello, true commitment, true love. This is my true love card. This is it. Not only do you get the Four of Wands, you got the Ten of Cups with it. You have positive movement forward. After emotional clarity. First, let's be real. You free yourself. You free yourself from the Seven of Swords person, from any limited thoughts that you may have of yourself. You tell yourself, I'm not stuck, right? You let go of the emotional baggage that they dropped on you. And I have a feeling that some of you, listen, you could have had dreams about someone. Um, and I'm going to do a reading on that, on dreams, like breaking down dreams. But anyways, you may have dreams. You may have had dreams about this person. But I feel like you were thinking about them. And in a way, I feel like that's what helped manifest this. They were probably thinking about you too. Here, I feel like you do know each other. And it may have been quite a bit of time before you've seen each other. But I feel like once you reconnect, I don't know how you don't reconnect forever. Where here, someone was lying, untrustworthy, you know, taking. Here, this person's putting you on a pedestal, just celebrating you. They have been thinking about you, and you have been thinking about them. And I'm not going to say all the time, here and there, but this is manifesting. Now, I do feel like it's meant to. Because again, we are talking about soul contracts, not just soul contracts, but this kind of feels like a good soul contract and the timing. So goodbye yesteryear and hello tomorrow. And even though your tomorrow does consist of someone of the past, this is someone who, first of all, they probably had a crush on you. Like, they had to admire you back in the day because they're thinking of you. It's not just you thinking of them. As a matter of fact, that may be why you started to think about them. They were thinking about you, and then all of a sudden you're like, why am I thinking about this person? And then you think about them more often. Well, they're thinking about you. What I think about, I bring about. Even if I didn't mean to. But listen, I love how this person is being represented for you. Like, this is someone that you can dedicate your life to, and they will dedicate their life to you. Like, and you had to set yourself free first. You had to. You had to. You had to find this emotional clarity. But I feel like you did. And this is why everything is now moving in a positive way. Energy attracting energy. Like attracting like. And hello, my forever love. Okay. I like that one a lot. We'll do one more from the Psychic Tarot. And then we'll move into the Tarot of Dreams. All right, 3 swords. Spiritual strength. The universe, this is the world. That means something has come to completion and something else wants to open up. The next chapter. It's ready. I love this 9 right before it because it's reminding me of 2025 and the reflection of the Hermit. And this is really the reflection where you are looking back and realizing how strong you are today because of your experiences. It does take time before we truly can look back and be like, hey, wait a minute. I remember it hurt, but look at me now. Look at me now. So something wants to come to completion. Well, let's let it be the 3 of Swords. Nine of Cups, fulfillment of wishes. But this is really inner harmony. And it's what's opening up. It's the chapter that wants to open up. It's telling you the chapter before has now completed. It's like, reading a book. You don't want to keep reading the same chapter over and over again. This tells me also that the 3 of Swords, that heartache and loss, doesn't seem like it's affecting you here. Feels like you're able to clear that energy pretty quickly, and I feel like your guides definitely helped with that. What's also interesting is we have 2 9s with 2 3s. Accelerated motion. Look at her wishing upon that star. And then rest and rejuvenation. This is healing. This is healing. You're wishing upon that star. I feel like I had to have the realization of something was ready to come to completion. If I wanted to find my inner harmony. And I feel like your guides truly were helping you here. And I want to say that even though I do feel like you're finding your inner harmony and some wishes are coming true, I feel like this is also a period of time that you're allowing yourself to heal. You're taking active steps in your healing process. Some of you, it may be getting out into nature, doing yoga, whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel balanced. That's what I feel, balanced. And then accelerated motion. She's looking right at that star. Well, the star is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. And what do we have? Fulfillment of wishes. I'll take it. Actually, let's go ahead and switch our clarifiers also since we switched decks. Just give them a quick shuffle. Undercut. Handcuffs in reverse. Wow. That would explain a lot over the Three of Swords. King of Cups in reverse was my first husband. Well, I was only married once, but um he married me and then probably immediately, or probably never stopped, just started cheating right away. Four of Pentacles. King of Swords can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but it doesn't have to be. The Eight of Pentacles. And the Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords is mirroring the reversal of the King of Cups. That makes sense. So we have someone here who, if nothing else, was probably a flirt. For sure. And I bet you wondered, like, are they giving attention to other men or women? Um, because you're the one who takes the heartache. But I feel like you must have found something out because I feel like you leave. It's time for completion. And I feel like you're putting your, what do I want to say, like your attention in a different place now. Like you're not focusing on them, you're focusing on you and what you want to do. Where before you may have put a lot of focus on them. And now I feel like you're giving them none. But in a way, I don't feel like they deserve it anyway. So now we have the King of Swords. And granted, it can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What I feel with the King of Swords, because he's in the upright, is this is someone who has integrity. And this is someone who tells the truth. And I feel like that's so important. And I feel like they would, there's someone that would need that truth back. They need integrity back. So, they want like minded just like we want like minded. But I feel like this is like a sense of comfort, really. Some of you may meet this person like in the work area. You may, I hate to say work together, maybe. You may be in the same company, or you may do similar things. There is something that's tied to your money with this love. And, this is probably not for everyone, but I do feel like it's for at least someone. I feel like there's someone at your workplace who feel like they have a crush on you. I don't think you know it. You may feel it, but I don't think you know it. because I don't feel like they've said it, but I feel like they show it in subtle ways. And I get a sense that you're not around each other all the time. It's almost like I work on one floor, they work on the other, and then when they come to my floor, like they go out of their way to come by where I'm at when it has nothing to do with the direction they're really needed to go. If that made sense. This feels like soulmates who are going to help heal each other. Both may have dealt with this broken heart. I mean, who hasn't, really? But I feel like this would have been somewhat recent. And both probably have dealt with that. But I feel like for someone, like if you make an announcement, like what I would do is find the one person who gossips in the office. And I'd be like, hey, have you heard I'm single now? Have you heard I left my partner? Knowing that that word will get to the right ears. Because I feel like if they find that you are now single, then they will make a move. But I get this sense, maybe it's the integrity where it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to make a move. But yet, if you're single, well, then here I come. Here I come. So there's definitely like-minded energy here. And again, you may do similar things. I feel like you both have gone through similar types of heartache, which means to me that you probably both had someone who either cheated or you didn't know whether they did or not, which sometimes is just as bad, right? If I can't trust you, like if I don't know if you're out cheating, well, that's a constant state of worry. That is no way to live, and I've done it. Hence the King of Cups in reverse. You think I used the sword on him? You better believe it. But I did put up with it for 8 years. But anyway, funny, I said 8 years and I see eights. Eights, new beginnings. Number of infinity. As above, so below. Okay, I'm going to let this one be. Because I really feel the main message here is someone's going to reach out to you. But I feel like you can get the ball rolling. Like let's look at this a different way. Like on Facebook, how many of us will put like whether we're in a relationship or not on the front page. I don't, but a lot of people do. And maybe you did, and then you change it to single status, and someone picks up on that. That's the type of energy I'm talking about. It's like, oh, they're single. Next thing you know, there's a little message waiting for you. So I'm not going to leave off the table the many different ways it could happen. All right, let's go ahead and move to the Tarot of Dreams. We'll do a couple and then I'm going to let it be. I actually did this reading. And then when I went to upload it, I noticed that the audio and the video were out of sync and I couldn't fix it no matter what I did. And while I was doing that one, my computer shut off and said I ran out of memory. And I'm like, what? So I had to go in and delete a bunch of videos. And so I had to do part two. So I have part two. I have both of them actually, but the first one is kind of hard to watch because the video and the audio are different. Nine of Cups again. I like it. Inner harmony and fulfillment of wishes. This may talk to someone who's single right now and doesn't have an issue with it. Doesn't mean like I wouldn't invite love in my life, but I don't feel any desperate energy here. We have the Knight of Swords. Interesting. And then we have the Page of Swords. Like the page is going to communicate, but something is telling me the page is no longer a page. 10 of Wands. That's interesting because it doesn't feel like it fits. So let's see what comes next to it. Like, I don't feel you're in that energy. And by the way, 10 of Wands can talk about, a lot of like responsibility coming down on your shoulders. It is the energy of feeling like, it's too much, it's too much. But I'm not feeling that's you. So I want to see what comes out with it. The Knight of Wands. Interesting. Whoa. We'll take this because it's upright, but we're not going to take that. It's too many. All right, so let's take what's upright first. Judgment, your spiritual team. And when you see judgment, they're calling you to the present moment. They're telling you there's about to be a rebirth. But we're going to send you signs. We're going to help guide you here. But we need you in the present moment. What they're really asking for is quiet mind to watch for the signs because they're coming. We have the Tower, interesting. And then we have the King of Pentacles, can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And then we have the Palace of Cups in reverse. Interesting. We'll slide these all over. Boy, this kind of feels like, it feels like this person needs you. Let me grab a drink real quick, and then we'll move on. Yeah, definitely feels like I feel like you right now, I do feel like you're single or very soon to be, but you live like you're single. And I feel like your spiritual team is saying, we're guiding you towards this person. This person seems to need you. Probably a soulmate, and you may be their healer. Of course, you help heal each other. And it doesn't mean like right away, like you may need them down the road. And they just may be the perfect person to comfort. And you, their perfect person. But I feel like this person is in a state of, well, let's just put it this way. I don't feel like they've had an easy time. Let's just say in the last, I want to say 10 months. I don't know why. I feel like this is someone who, when they love, and I mean love, not like when they fall in love, they give their all. I feel like they're loyal. They're someone we can count on. Well, let's say someone that someone else could count on, yet was taken advantage of because of that. What a shame. What a shame. However, I say that, but I feel like they're heading towards you. Really, you're heading towards each other. And, oftentimes in a reading, I talk about how someone's going to come in and help you overcome. Well, here, I feel like you're the teacher, they're the student, and they just need your empathy and your compassion. They need your arms around them is what they need. They need a hug. They need it from you. I don't think they know that yet because I feel like their guides are guiding them. And I feel like it was not long ago that they had to deal with, again, something heavy. It just feels heavy. And even the Palace of Cups in reverse. So if it had anything to do with love, there was no love left. And it may have become duty instead of love. But then something may have happened. I feel like that's what the tower is in their life that really kind of forced their hand. And, I get this sense that once this person leaves this situation, they're never looking back. They are never looking back. Mm-mm. What's to look back at? There is nothing to look back at. It's like this person needs your arms. They need your comfort. And I feel like they need what only you can give them. Oh my gosh, look at that. 10 of Swords and a Tower again. 10 of Swords. Well, to me, that's a repeat pattern. That's dagger after dagger after dagger in my back. To the point of submission. Can I tell you why? I feel like we have someone so loyal. Let's just put it this way. When they make that decision, and I feel like they already have, to end this, boy, first of all, I feel like what a dumb person because I feel like they're losing someone really good, really trustworthy, very stable. But yet, this person can walk away knowing I gave it all I had and more and more. There's a song that just came to my head, but I cannot think of the words. It's by Wham. The moon in reverse. You know, I feel like the moon can talk about uncertainties, and that can be scary for some people. I'm not sure what's next, or will something be better than this? That type of energy. But it's also very dreamy energy. Well, I don't feel like there was any dreaminess in that house. Quite the opposite. And, I feel like that is the message that this person, I mean, you're crossing paths. Let's just put it that way. But there is this sense, hmm, I'm thinking like they took so much bullshit that how are they going to move in to a potential relationship with you and not carry this along? But that's where the healing part of you comes in. Because I do feel like it's not that they would ever want to go back. That is not even a consideration. But boy, I feel like they need healing. But they need it from their soulmate. They need it from you. And I literally feel that the healing is the holding of each other. Like, I don't feel like words even need to be spoken. It's just the holding. And so it is. And so it is. Okay, guys, I'm going to let that be. Um, I'm going to try to connect part two to this one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Some way, somehow, I'll get them all to you. Um, but yeah, we'll let this one be. So I love you guys. I thank you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.